From Mitchell Athletic Complex in Uniondale, Long Island, it is the Catholic High School Football League AAA Championship presented by Webull Financial, where tonight the Lions of Monsignor Farrell, the number 2 seed in the postseason, take on the top-seeded Gales of Iona Prep. Good evening, everyone. Dylan Butler here with Pat Godfrey. And Pat, we have come down to this, the battle of juggernauts. It is Iona Prep, who is the team that is the number 1 team right now. They were the number 1 team before the start of the year. Top seed coming into these postseason, looking to make that next step. There you see their tail of the tape, looking for their first AAA championship in quite a long time. You have to go back to 2008 when they last won it. For Farrell, you have to go back even further. The year 2000 was when Monsignor Farrell last won it. Tradition-laced history for Monsignor Farrell. So it's an interesting battle in terms of that. The expected against a little bit of the underdog.
Absolutely. It's somewhat of a David versus Goliath dynamic here tonight. Iona Prep has really been the preeminent team in New York State this year, with their lone blemish coming to a strong Don Bosco program out of the Big North in New Jersey. Really haven't been challenged too much outside of a couple close games against St. Anthony's here this year. So Iona Prep looking to come out strong and finish what they started. On the flip side, Monsignor Farrell has had an incredible run to get to this point, led by the dynamic back Messiah Birch, and going to look to play upsetter tonight.
You can see from that bracket, Iona Prep had that bye right in the quarterfinals, a double overtime win over St. Anthony's. Monsignor Farrell at the Lions Den, they defeated Archbishop Stepanak to earn their spot back here in the championship game. And in our varsity media matchup, that's a pretty good one as well. You've got Mateo Bravado, one of the receivers for Monsignor Farrell. But to be honest, the Lions are a bit more of a ball control, right? But that's the guy. When they want to get it, they want to get it to him. And, of course, that's the guy, number 2. You don't want to throw it anywhere near his area code. Ellis Robinson the 4th. What a season he has had. One of the top-ranked players in the country. And, oh, by the way, just got an offer from Alabama. Not too bad for a kid who's got 2 more years of high school football in him.
Absolutely. Ellis Robinson, maybe the best high school defensive back I've ever seen play. He's really a shutdown guy who you probably won't hear his name all that much tonight because teams tend not to throw it his way. But as you see with that stat line right there, when he does get tested, he makes quarterbacks pay. 8 interceptions thus far in the year.
So it's Dylan Butler here, Pat Godfrey next to me. On the field, we've got our guy who's been there all game long, all day long, Dexter Henry. Dexter, what are you thinking here heading into this championship game?
Well, I'm thinking this could be an exciting one, Dylan, for sure. And Monsignor Farrell, their head coach, I talked to him before the game, and he told me, look, this is a team that we've been ready. We've dealt with adversity all year. He said since week 3, week 4, we've had to win out. 5 games in a row they've won heading into this contest, so they're very confident about what they can do. Now, I asked him, does your mind wander at all, thinking, what would it be like if you win this championship and hoist that trophy? He told me, yeah, I do. And I said to him, most coaches don't say that. They're just focused on the game at hand. He said, no, of course you have to think about that. We are trying to be able to play next week at the state championship. That's something we haven't done in a while. That is our goal, and we're focused on that. To get that done tonight, they will have to beat Iona Prep, and that is something they definitely believe that they can do. Guys?
Thanks, Dexter. We'll take a quick break. We'll get the start of this one coming up is the AAA Championship in the Catholic High School Football League, presented by Webull Financial.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
And we welcome you back to Mitchell Athletic Complex just before the start of this one. It is the AAA championship game. The top-seeded Gales of Iona Prep, and that is their offensive impact player. You see him there in a last-minute prayer with his teammates, Justin Jolie. We saw firsthand against St. Anthony's what he means, how he can impact the game, and Jolie certainly has a big chance here in his, could be his second-to-last high school football game.
Oh, he has an incredible combination of size and agility out there at that receiver spot for the Gales. He's really a guy who opens up their offense, makes a lot of big things happen when he's on the same page with their quarterback, Johnny Shepard. So he should be an instrumental factor here in their quest for a AAA title.
So the colors might deceive you a little bit here today. It's a lot of maroon and gold for both sides a little bit. We will have Monsignor Farrell kicking off the football. And Monsignor Farrell, Pat, they've been here for a while. They stayed over last night across the street at the Marriott. Wanted to make sure they don't get stuck in some of that massive traffic that you can kind of get from Staten Island to Long Island, right? So they've been they've treated it like a business trip, like you would expect teams would.
Absolutely. You know, want to eliminate all distractions when you have such a pivotal matchup like you have here tonight. So we'll see if Farrell's locked in and ready to go for a huge test.
Big return there as Iona Prep will have a great start. Good field position for the Gales. They are led onto this field by their version, I would say, of Superman in Johnny Shepard, number 3, the junior. He's a QB, or I should say he's a linebacker in a quarterback's body, 6'2", 230. What a job that Johnny Shepard did in that semifinal game, really just leading Iona Prep, willing them, if you will, to this title game. So 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. Shepard keeps it, bounces it to the outside, and he's forced out of bounds after about a gain of 6. So let's take a look at the other starters joining Johnny Shepard. It's the Catholic Health starting lineup. Colin O'Gara is your running back. Your receivers, Ryan, Jolie, Senator, and O'Boyle. Up front, the big guys, Federico, Becker, Schultz, Langendorf, Pax, and Ruiz. 2nd and 5 from the 47-yard line. Another run and a good stop by the Monsignor Farrell defense, and we'll show you their starters as well. It's the Catholic Health Monsignor Farrell starting defense. Up front, Cessa De Jesus, Badina. The linebackers, Ventura, Espinat, Boris, and Goodman. Corners are Sufrin and Guzman, and Caulfield and Keegan are your safeties. 3rd and 2 for Iona Prep. The faked handoff, it's complete to Mike Ryan. And Ryan will get the first down for the Gales.
Johnny Shepard shows you a little bit of what he can do, moving the pocket out there. Nice strike on the run to number 1, Mike Ryan, to keep the chains moving here in this opening drive for the Gales.
1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Shepard looks like he'll keep it, tucks it under, bounces it to the outside, breaks the first tackle, and he goes out at about the 31-yard line.
Dylan, one thing we've really seen from Iona thus far this year is when a Johnny Shepard is able to get his game going on the ground, this is a very, very difficult offense to stop. He's a dynamic guy, weighs about 230 pounds, which is bigger than most linebackers in the Catholic League. So he really presents a dangerous skill set for any opposing defense coordinator.
2nd and 3. Johnny Shepard, there you see what he has done this year for Iona Prep. This time, slings it, gets it to the outside. Look at this. It's a first down and more. A touchdown-saving tackle to the outside. Mikey Senator, that Wes Welker slot type with a big gain after the catch.
Absolutely. Coach Spagnolo refers to this guy as a safety blanket for a Johnny Shepard. He's a sure-handed guy, knows how to find that crease in the defense.
1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Pass is complete to Joe Lee, and he is downed inside of the 5-yard line. Pat, listen, Iona is coming out, man. They mean business, and that was certainly the conversation that we had with Coach Spags, that this week leading up, his guys were dialed in, and you could see it here on their opening drive.
Absolutely. This is a rare team that has, kind of been a pole-to-pole number one, and they've really known what their mission was all year long. That's to get here, and that's to win. So, early on.
And Shepard finds the end zone, a 3-yard touchdown run, and Iona Prep takes the lead on their first drive of the game.
Didn't encounter too much resistance right there behind the key blocks of some of their big men up front. Scott Becker. You also have Schultz Langendorf, Pax Ruiz, Anthony Turner, the fullback, doing a good job. And a really, really impressive drive to open up the game and set the tone against this Lions team looking to play spoiler tonight at Monsignor Farrell.
Sean O'Neill with the PAT. And just like that, Johnny Shepard has led his team down the field and into the end zone. About as perfect an opening drive as you could expect. You mix it up a little bit with the run, with the pass. Get a little bit warm now, maybe inside those tents as you watch that drive over. But a great start for these Gales.
Absolutely. One of the things you really want to establish as a favorite in the game is you really want to be the tempo setter. You don't want to give that underdog team across from you any sense of hope from the opening gate. So Iona attempting to set that tone, and really a huge drive coming up here for Monsignor Farrell to try to respond and show Iona that they're also here to play.
7-0 is the score, just underway, 9:26 left in the first quarter of the Catholic High School Football League AAA Championship. There's the kickoff by O'Neill, fielded at about the 10, and the return will come out to about the 26-yard line. So now the Monsignor Farrell offense will step on the field, led by their quarterback. And it's interesting, in our conversation with Tony Garofalo, the Farrell coach, I said, if you put Christian Pinto side by side with a Johnny Shepard, you might not have a bigger difference or mismatch, right, in terms of size. Pinto, a 5'11", 185-pound sophomore. And Shepard, of course, again, we showed you how big he is. But Pinto, the sophomore, doing a great job. Really matured throughout this season. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line for Monsignor Farrell. They will hand it off, and that is Messiah Birch. And Birch is pushed backwards, but the forward momentum will get him to the 27-yard line. Let's take a look at the starters offensively for Monsignor Farrell, presented by Catholic Health. It is Birch at running back along with Ethan Zach. Your fullback is Abruzzese. Bravado and Esposito, your wide receivers. Up front, it's Long, Massa, Capolongo, Quinn, and Sessa. A gain of 2 on first down, 2nd and 8. Back to Birch. He tries to bounce it the other way. Spins, turns, gets to the 25. He's tripped up from behind. So a lot to do for a short gain as the Iona Prep defense is set up here on third down. Let's take a look at the starters defensively. Presented by Catholic Health. Up front, it's Foster, Martin, and Vavrika. Your linebackers are McIntyre, Moultrie, Goddard, Mackey, and Reeves. Robinson and Johnson at corners, and Connolly and Walden are your safeties. 3rd and 5 for Monsignor Farrell. Their first possession of the game. On the counter, and that will be stopped short. A good-looking tackle there by Sean Keegan. Excuse me.
Kieran Connolly.
By Kieran Connolly, yeah.
And a 4th and short situation early on here for the Lions. Got to be interested to see what they do. I'd assume they'd punt, but at the same time, they're looking to play spoiler here today, so don't be shocked if you see some aggressive play calling from the Lions and Coach Anthony Garofolo.
Well, John Caulfield is their punter, number 10.
He is not on the field.
And the Lions will burn a timeout. Now, if they do go to a punt formation, we do have to watch out for the fake because that's what Caulfield did. One of the bigger plays in their big semifinal win against Archbishop Stepanak was converting a fake punt. And Caulfield, number 10 for Monsignor Farrell. His nickname is Superman. Mostly because he looks a little bit like Clark Kent, but also because he does a little bit of everything on the football field. That was the case certainly in the second half of that win at the Lions Den against Stepanak. He was all over the place on offense, defense, and specials as well. Tony Garofalo, there he is. Caulfield. Garofalo, the head coach, says we don't win that game if not for the effort of John Caulfield.
And I think that should be indicative of some of the play calling we can expect here from the Lions today. Looking to play spoiler, and they're going to have to be aggressive to do so.
4th and 1 from the 39-yard line. Caulfield punts it from his own 29. It's fielded on the bounce at the 30. Trying to bounce it to the outside and just getting out of bounds was Ellis Robinson, the 4th.
Ellis Robinson, even on special teams, one of the scarier players that you're going to find out there. Got to kind of hold your breath every time that he touches the ball because big things seem to happen.
We mentioned before, just got a nice offer from the University of Alabama. What a way to kind of cap his sophomore year, right? So many other offers. Pretty much every major college football program is in on Ellis Robinson. The latest, of course, Saban and Alabama.
Doug Marrone, a New Yorker, came up from Alabama to come visit him at Iona. Gotta love hearing that.
Yeah, former Syracuse head coach, Bills coach as well. Good first down run there by Colin O'Gara. So the interesting thing is here, number 5 there for Iona Prep, as well as Messiah Birch. Both players didn't play in their first matchup. Both were banged up. O'Gara's first game back was that game that we broadcast, that regular season game against St. Anthony's. There goes O'Gara again into the second level. There is, though, a flag on the play. We expect this one to come back. O'Gara injured himself early in the year. It is an offensive holding penalty. Injured his ankle against Bishop Hendrickson. That was in their Week 2 game, their first win of the year. That came after that 21-7 loss to Don Bosco, which was their only loss of the season for the Gales. And O'Gara, a guy who can obviously run. He can catch it. He could run between tackles, gets to the outside, really good speed as well. Kind of that complete back and a great compliment to the bevy of receivers that Iona can throw at you.
It's really a testament to the kind of talent that Iona brings out onto the field every week, that O'Gara can sometimes become an afterthought, but in his own right, a very, very dynamic and capable back.
Shepard with the short completion out to about the 40-yard line. I got to say, between running the football which he has a touchdown on the day already, and completions, he's been very good. You talk about dialed in. Shepard is that guy right now for the Gales.
And when a Johnny Shepard is playing sharp, this is a very, very difficult team to beat. I don't care if you're from Staten Island or South Florida. There's a lot of weapons. And number 3 is as good a signal caller as you'll find in New York.
2nd and 7 from the 39-yard line. There's the handoff, and up the middle runs O'Gara, gets the extra push. It is a first down and more. Looks like a rugby scrum there, Pat.
That actually looks like it was Justin Jolie, the wide receiver who gets a couple different looks, will sometimes line up at that tailback spot, but really showing you all that he's capable of by lowering his shoulder and getting some tough yards that you'd never expect out of a 6'5" wide receiver.
See John Pack, 60, joining in, and the offensive lineman, right, continuing to run, continuing to push.
Federico does a great job continuing with the play, getting some extra push downfield, and that's what it takes to win championship football games.
Shepard chased, tries to get out of it. He's finally taken down. After all of that, might have actually gotten a yard on the play. You saw a host of Farrell tacklers in there.
Looks like Jamison Sessa was in there on that, but number 3 right there with as impressive of a 1-yard gain as you can find, breaking about 5 tackles to just get back to the line of scrimmage.
Shepard, a guy you almost don't want to have to see run at you, right? Because, again, he is jacked at 6'2", 230. There's a handoff up the middle, and the tackle by number 7, Paul Ventura. Paulie is a specimen. 51 tackles on the year, 10 sacks as well. He has been fantastic at the linebacker position for the Lions this year.
Coach Garofolo said seemingly every time he looks up, this guy's in the quarterback's face. Ventura, certainly a very, very active defensive lineman, and he's going to have to stay active to disrupt the rhythm of this Gales offense.
3rd and 5 for the Gales. And look at that, the Farrell defense coming up with another big stop.
Looks like Chris Boris, the senior middle linebacker, who's been very, very productive all year, flew up. His older brother, Steven, was actually a team captain, and Boris does a great job, number 44, with a bevy of some other tacklers there on the Farrell defense.
Well, he was a captain a year ago. Now he's playing up at RPI. So 4th and 3. Oh, look at that. That is a killer. On the top left, you could see the Lions jumped offside. So it was a 4th and 3. Now it's a fresh set of downs just outside the 10.
And what have we talked about all day? When you're playing from that underdog role, you really have to be the team that limits those careless mistakes. Monsignor Farrell going to be really upset with themselves when they watch that back on film, because little margin for error when you're competing with the likes of this Iona Prep team.
So the Gales trying to get into the end zone for a second time. Shepard rolls out to the right. He's chased, finds a receiver, and it's a touchdown for Iona. And there he is again, Mikey Senator. He's having himself a day early on. And there is the signal, touchdown Iona.
And we always talk about it, that safety blanket, and Mikey Senator. Shepard is flushed out to his right-hand side, goes through his progressions, doesn't see anything, but because he has that ability to extend plays, waits, Senator able to find the crease in the defense underneath and score the touchdown.
The PAT by O'Neal is up, and it is good. Here you see it again. Flushed out, finds Senator, touchdown. It's the safety blanket for Iona Prep, and the Gales off to a tremendous start. 14-0 Iona Prep, 3:10 left in this first quarter. You're watching the Catholic High School Football League Championships presented by Webull Financial.
Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see a region that lives, feels, and pulses with energy. But before it all, we see you, because it's your lives that breathe life into this island. At Catholic Health, we're able to provide the highest quality, most innovative care for your body because our culture cherishes your humanity. Long live Long Island.
We welcome you back to Mitchell Athletic Complex. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, a great start for Iona Prep in the Catholic AAA Championship. Good return for Monsignor Farrell and the Lions trying to respond. And it's almost fitting, right? I kind of used this line on Mike Quick Show this morning, but I'll say it again. Kind of fitting, and you're in the Catholic Championships, and you are led by a Messiah, and that's what Birch is trying to do here for the Lions. And if anything, really, it's just about moving the football right now, right?
Well, let's hope this Messiah can cleanse them of their earlier sins because they've got a bit of a hole to dig out of right now.
Oh, and more flags. Let's take a look at our referee, John Santiago, and this one against the Gales for encroachment. So it's a 1st and 5. We mentioned before, right? Mike Quick does a great job with Matt Sims on that weekly show. Sims helps train both of these quarterbacks.
And the Sims family really is all over the New York area. It seems like every time you meet another dynamic high school quarterback, he has some connection to that QB academy. So big thank you to Phil and Matt and Chris and all the work that those guys do in developing the fantastic talent that we have here in this New York metro area.
Birch with the run. It was Vavrika, the defensive tackle, with the tackle. A 2nd and 4 from the 37-yard line. Pinto spins it. There's a cut inside, and there's a flag as well. This is going to be a hold that will likely be declined, I would think, right, by the Iona defense, or will they just push him back? I think they'll push him back.
Tackle on the play right there was actually by Kalani McIntyre, a guy who's one of the more dynamic linebackers you're going to find in all of New York State. Really great cover guy, also flies up and does a nice job playing the run and setting the edge. I've had the fortune of working with him with my charity About You in New York City, and he's a real bright spot on this very talented Iona defense.
2nd and 13. And the officials blow the whistle. A conversation. I don't know if this is a placement situation or just, I guess the officials are just trying to making sure they're all on the same page, right? So they'll wind the clock. Under 2 minutes left in this first quarter, dominated by the Gales of Iona. Pinto under pressure, and he's sacked.
And that was big number 55, Capri Martin, the All-American wrestler, who's a big boy and a big presence up through the middle. Another guy who I get to work with up in Harlem each summer, and a very, very strong and talented defensive tackle makes his presence known here in the first quarter.
Yeah, Martin, as soon as Pinto stepped up, right, Martin knew that's a 2-point takedown for Martin if there ever was one, right? 3rd and 17. Monsignor Farrell just going backwards right now. There's a run. Birch, nice cut inside, but and a late flag. So this could be an interesting one, Pat. Usually when we see these flags this late, could be of the face mask variety. Let's see what John Santiago, our referee, calls. And you can see the handout, right? The 5. So it's a 5-yard face mask penalty. So it will not result certainly in anywhere near a first down for Monsignor Farrell.
For those who don't know, Dylan, the difference between a 15-yard face mask penalty and a 5-yard face mask penalty. 5-yard is incidental, kind of brief. A 15-yard, you grab, you hang on, and you use it to bring the guy down. So that wasn't necessarily a consequential face mask within the context of the play. Only a 5-yard slap on the wrist for Iona.
3rd and 12, final minute of this first quarter. Lions need a first down in the worst way. Pinto back to pass. He goes long. He's found the man. It is complete. And how about this? You need a first down? How about 6? Frankie Esposito into the end zone for the touchdown. 64 yards to the house.
And just what the doctor ordered right there from Monsignor Farrell. Fantastic ball, fantastic delivery to Frankie Esposito. And able to burn him down the sideline. Big play right there to bring the Lions back into this ball game.
That's Frankie touchdown to you. And more flags are thrown. Esposito, big physical kid, 6'1", 195. He's now over 400 yards receiving on the year, his 4th receiving touchdown, and that is the response that Tony Garofalo and his Lions needed. Here's the PAT. Thomas Lorenzo. That is good.
It was really all Iona's first quarter up until that point. And really, you get the sense that came at the perfect time for Monsignor Farrell. Was behind the chains in that drive early on. And a huge 3rd down, 64-yard touchdown to inject some life and belief into the Lions sideline.
When we spoke with Monsignor Farrell head coach Tony Garofalo, he harked back to his championship game. It was back at St. John's, 1988. It was a loss for Monsignor Farrell, a double overtime loss to St. Francis Prep, where he said, look, I didn't play my best. We didn't play our best. It was a game that Mike Jamin had 2 interceptions for St. Francis Prep, and Dino Kalisis had a 27-yard field goal to win it. So he said, look, I regret that, and it still burns me to this day that I didn't play my best in that game. That was his message to his guys. Look, play your best. Whatever happens, happens, but don't leave anything out. Don't leave any, empty the tank, go for it. When you look in the mirror, know that you're looking at someone who tried his best in that game, and that's what the message is for Tony Garofalo. We almost came to blows, though, because he was like, we shouldn't have lost to that team. I said, wait a minute. That's my alma mater you're talking about, man.
Don't mess with St. Peter's.
St. Francis.
St. Francis.
Come
Sorry,
on.
jeez. I knew that.
Fielding the ball at the 22-yard line and just getting out of bounds. Not a big return, certainly. And I think what Monsignor Farrell needs here, right? You want to compound. You want to keep that momentum going. You need to stop. So far, the Gales are 2 for 2 scoring on their drives, right? So this is one where now they've got a long field position. They're at their own 27-yard line. But the Lions need to get a stop here to, one, avoid, again, that 2-score deficit, but also to continue that momentum off of that big touchdown to Frankie Esposito.
Exactly. Build up some momentum on the defensive side of the ball. Their fan base is really behind it. I really want to underscore the passion that both the Iona sideline and the Monsignor Farrell sideline have brought. Both communities are showing in great numbers and really injecting a lot of life into this atmosphere tonight.
Shepard tries the long ball looking for Joe Lee, and that is incomplete. Listen, if you've not had the opportunity on a Friday night to go out to the Lions Den out there off of Highland Boulevard in Staten Island, you've got to do it. One of the best atmospheres there is. And even Joe Spagnuolo, the Iona Prep coach, says it's not just the atmosphere, it's the sausage and pepper sandwiches off as well. The best, he says, on Staten Island as well. So I got to talk to Ben Turchin. We got to do a game out in Staten Island next year.
I'd absolutely love it.
You're signed up?
I'm in. Now, Ben's a Long Island guy, so I think he wants to stay in his local territory.
But Ben's also an aficionado of sausage and pepper sandwiches, so we can maybe convince him with that. He's got a nice truck. He could get us all in there. 1st and 20 from the 17-yard line off of that penalty. Shepard slings it far sideline, and that is complete. That's a great-looking pass to Mike Ryan.
And they regain the penalty yardage right there. Keep this drive right on track.
And that is the final play of the first quarter. So Monsignor Farrell with the response after Iona Prep scored the first 14 points. The Catholic High School Football League Championships. It's presented by Webull Financial. Sargiulo over the middle. He's got a man. It's complete. Ciolino. See you later.
Going long, wide open, Perazzi, he gets it, Perazzi, foot raise, 10, 5, make it, touchdown, punch, counter punch.
The trickery, Ryder gets it back, goes over the top for Haberman. What a catch!
Just Ross Simmons strips him, that's loose, and Ross Simmons is going to take this the other direction, make it, touchdown, touchdown East.
Start of the second quarter. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey up here. Let's send it down to our sideline reporter, Dexter Henry.
Thanks, guys. When I talked to Gales head coach Joe Spagnuolo at the start of the game, he told me it's very important that they get off to a good start. Saw that with the 14-0 lead, but then gave up that big touchdown to Monsignor Farrell. And the defensive coaches for the Gales were giving the defensive players a lashing, talking about the penalties that they had that led to that play. They want to see them cut that down. So they're going to try to do that as they move forward in the second quarter. As in terms of Monsignor Farrell giving them the best shot, this coaching staff isn't shocked at all whatsoever. They said they always have a target on their back, being Iona Prep, and they knew to expect a response from them, and that's exactly what we saw at the end of the first quarter. Guys?
Thanks, Dexter. And the other aspect, too, of Iona Prep offensively is it's about tempo, and they want to play it at a quick tempo. We've not really seen that from them this year because of the rash of injuries they've had, but now they're healthy. They could play a little bit of at a quicker tempo, or they want to play certainly at a quicker tempo. But the interesting thing about that is also it's about plays, right? Where Spagnuolo said we had probably about 90 plays on the call sheet against St. Anthony's. We had to cut that down to about 70 for this game just because we know that Monsignor Farrell generally is a team that is really good in terms of time of possession. Shepard goes sideline. Was that complete? It was to Joe Lee. It was hard to see from this sideline. A lot of gales in the way. It was incomplete. But that's been the trademark, right? A little bit the hallmark of Iona Prep, playing quick, getting a quick tempo, not really settling in between plays and just wanting to play at a much faster pace.
They also are a very balanced offense. They can really open up the game either by utilizing the traditional running game, running behind their big left guard, Scott Becker, who might be the best offensive lineman in New York State right now, utilizing the quarterback run game with some of the things that a Johnny Shepard can do in open space, and then also getting the ball out to their bevy of weapons on the edge. A lot of different things to consider when you're game planning against this Iona attack.
There was one of them in Mikey Senator who just slipped on the turf. You can't certainly blame the Gatorade baths because neither were on that sideline so far. It's been the favorites to have won here. So we're actually looking on the Iona Prep sideline. There looks to be a lot of ice on that sideline, right, from like the 40 to the 30.
And so I got news for you. That ice isn't going
anywhere.
Yeah,
it's not melting here tonight. 3rd and 1 from midfield. The handoff, it's a first down run, and a little bit more. And as this time, the running back is Moultrie Goddard, who we've seen run the football a lot this year as well. 29 carries for 266 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Moultrie Goddard is another guy on Iona who has a bevy of different Power 5 offers, amongst them West Virginia, Tennessee. He's a really strong middle linebacker, but they also love to set the tone with some inside runs out of that H-back, fullback spot.
Shepard finds Jolie, but there is a flag behind the play. This will likely be a holding penalty. We'll await official notification by our referee, John Santiago. And Santiago doesn't even motion the call. I think everyone knows it was a holding penalty with Shepard rolling to his right. So he'll push the Gales back on the opposite side of midfield. 1st and 21 from the 48-yard line. 10:37 left in this first half. 14-7, Iona leads.
And the only impediment so far to this Iona offense has really been this Iona offense. A few penalties here and there have put them behind the sticks, but really a strong performance throughout the first quarter and a half.
To Senator, and he gets to the 45-yard line. Tackling him, you saw there number 23, Aaron Espinat. And Espinat was such a big key. You know, when Messiah Birch was recovering from that broken collarbone, Espinat, number 23, he was the guy carrying the load offensively as well as doing this job defensively as well. There's not a lot of two-way guys for Farrell, but he's one of those who can impact it on both sides. Look at that out route to Jolie. It will be, though, shy of the first down marker. He gets pulled down or pulled out of bounds just outside of the 35.
Jolie, the Delaware commit, who is playing in what could be either his last or second to last high school game, projects to make a huge impact on that CAA team in years to come. One of the more talented guys that I've gotten the pleasure to call this year.
3rd and 3, plenty of protection. Shepard goes deep. He finds Jolie for the touchdown. 34 yards, and the Gales are back in front by 2 scores.
And you see right there why the Blue Hens feel very, very fortunate to have him. He's a guy who can be a game breaker, beat you over the top, and does just that to get a little extra separation here.
Here's our ISO camera on Jolie. Oh, look at that little move, right? With the shoulders, creates the separation that he wanted. That's a great look.
And when you have a receiver with that type of athletic potential who also pieced it together with incredible fundamentals and route running, that's a very, very difficult combo to stop out on the perimeter.
PAT is good, 21-7. And Justin Jolie. It is quick, or Spagnola doesn't hesitate, right? Says that Justin Jolie is the best wide receiver that he's had in 17 years.
Yeah, I mean, over 11-inch hands, which is really just unheard of. And it's really shown by his sure-handedness. You see second there in the Catholic League overall in receptions, second in receiving yards, third in touchdowns. He's really been a standout guy all year long.
Spagnola says that Jolie's got these gigantic hands, over 11-inch hands. So when we need a play, he's more often than not their guy. Nice kick, fielded at about the 20 by Birch. He'll go backwards, trying to find some space. None to be had, though.
Messiah Birch needs to learn very quickly that the Reggie Bush style of play won't necessarily work against Iona as it might have worked against previous opponents this year. He's really, really fast guy, but there's some team speed on Iona that's not going to allow you to run backwards and have a successful day.
Yeah, so by running backwards and being hit the way he did, now Farrell, which might have been around the 20, right? 22. Now they start at their own 12. Pinto turns. Looks like he'll go again to Birch. Ball is loose, but you could hear clearly, right, the referee's whistle blow early. Santiago says, no, hang on, no fumble. Instead, it looks like it'll be a 2nd and 10, so no gain. They'll give him actually a yard, 2nd and 9 on that carry.
Yeah, the last thing Monsignor Farrell needs here is a turnover as they look to settle down and respond once again to the potent attack across from them.
Pinto's got Espinette with him. And look at this run right up the middle. Out to about the 37-yard line.
That looked like Ethan Yak right there, the senior who has been a formidable contributor all year long, just over 230 yards on the season. Nice to have another option to hand it off to, a little bit of a different look than Birch, a little bit of a bigger guy, more of a downhill runner, and successful right there.
Yeah, Yak coming off a huge game against Stepanak, and he's trying to continue that momentum here again today. Another flag we could see. There have been a number of flags thrown. It'll be a chop block that Santiago signals, and again, this will negate even what Yak just did, right? Where you've now got to go backwards for Monsignor Farrell.
I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. When you're playing from behind, the last thing you can afford is careless mistakes. March in the right direction. Let Iona Prep beat you. Don't let Monsignor Farrell beat you.
So this will back the Lions back to their own 27-yard line. Bravado is at the bottom of your screen, matched up. That's our matchup, literally, with Robinson. Pinto rolls the other way. Look out. He's got nowhere to go. Oh, somehow gets out of the first one, but the second tackle comes in.
And he's dropped right there by Scott Mackey. The senior linebacker flows up. He might be a Villanova lacrosse commit, but he's showing you that lacrosse players can still bring the wood.
Yeah, Mackey was penciled in to be the strong safety, but he played outside linebacker in the spring, and then when Jose Ruiz suffered that horrible torn ACL after that monster first half against Don Bosco, Mackey got bumped inside. He played there in the lower levels as well, but he's been amazing at that interior linebacker position. 2nd and 26 from the 21-yard line for Monsignor Farrell. Pinto is back to pass, goes his own sideline. That was closer to being an interception than it was a reception.
And he broke the cardinal rule, which is do not throw it towards Ellis Robinson.
And you know what, too? In that situation where Robinson was on that side of the field, and if he catches that ball clean, I mean, he could have been gone to the house there for another pick six.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, 8 interceptions on the year, and honestly, I'd have to go through, but I can't imagine he's been thrown to more than 15 times.
Yeah. 3rd and 26. You can see Robinson there at the top of your screen. Pinto over the middle. Oh,
wow.
What a catch. Frankie, big time. Esposito.
Frank Esposito. As Pinto breaks the cardinal rule again and throws towards Ellis Robinson again, Esposito challenges the best defensive back in the country and comes down on the right side of it.
So that's the positive for Monsignor Farrell. The negative is because of those penalties and being pushed back, it's still a 4th and 9 from the 38-yard line, so they'll be forced to punt the football. It's a low punt. It will take a little bit of a Farrell roll out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Yeah, listen, Frank Esposito doesn't care about your offers, and you know, he's just the baller, and he feels, listen, if it's a 50-50 ball, he feels with his frame, he deserves it, you know, maybe more, or he'll get it because he wants it more.
Hey, he's 6'1", about 200 pounds, and a physical guy. So, I mean, he's certainly impressed thus far, and generating some highlights that I think he'll be able to show his kids someday, because I've got some faith that number 2 might be playing on Sundays.
And listen, right? But that's the other part of it as well, where if he's trying to even include his or improve his own recruiting, right?
It's a golden opportunity. Anytime you get to play against a bona fide Division I recruit, it gives you many, many chances to put up film that proves I belong.
100%. O'Garo with the run. To about the 39-yard line as we approach 6 minutes left. In this first half, it is Iona Prep with a 21-7 lead in the Catholic AAA Championship. Pitch inside. And again, a couple of yards to be had.
Dylan, one thing to keep an eye on is Big Scott Becker, who I referred to earlier, who normally plays left guard on this Iona offensive line, has actually just switched out to right tackle that last play. I'm going to be interested to see where he plays, for the rest of this series, but not his natural position, not as comfortable out there in space. Could be a factor.
3rd and 4 from the 43-yard line. Flag and a delay of game. It was a personnel situation there for Iona, right? And it was either, do we burn a timeout? Can our guy get off the field in time? The play clock is winding down, so ends up being a loss of 5 yards for the Gales.
Typically in the first half at least, you don't hesitate to burn that timeout and hold on to it. I think that play clock might have just gotten away from a Johnny Shepard and Coach Spagnuolo.
Pass to Robinson. Look at the burn. Flag, it appears, I think, on the play as well, as Robinson.
And that'll be another holding call.
I'm surprised that, the level, right, of this game to have as many of these kind of calls as we've seen.
Part of the hope was that as the season went along, you understand a lot of these guys, they're coming off of a COVID year. There's going to be some sloppiness. There's going to be some inexperience. But, we're 10 games into the season. At this point, this is championship football. Step up to the plate, clean up these mistakes if you want to emerge victorious from Mitchell Field.
You can maybe make the excuse, maybe, if this was last week, coming off a bye week, right, where maybe you lose a little bit of your week-to-week rhythm. But not after that big emotional win for Iona Prep, really both teams, over St. Anthony's
and Stepinac. This is a
really
interesting package that Coach Spagnuolo rarely goes with, playing Ellis Robinson on the offensive side of the ball. This really seldom occurs, but he's a unique weapon that they have the option to put in there when they need a big play.
They went the opposite side this time. I believe that was to Turner. You could see there 44, who was, when O'Garo was down, it was Turner who was the lead running back, and then Turner now being more of that fullback. And after all of that, 4th and 2, so the Gales will look to punt the football. Sean O'Neill does that as well. And it's a fake. They'll go up for the first down. So the trickery by Spagnuolo works.
And who better to fake it to than your big 240-pound linebacker, Zion Moultrie-Goddard, to pick up a couple of tough yards. Lowers his shoulder there, taking his time getting off the field. But really drawn up to perfection and a well-utilized fake here.
An official's timeout with an injured player up the field. We'll take a break with the officials as well. 3:59 left in this first half. Iona Prep with a 21-7 lead. You're watching the Catholic High School Football League Championships presented by Webull Financial.
Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video.
Welcome back to Mitchell Athletic Complex. Another big play. This one, a pass to Mikey Ryan. What a first half Mikey Ryan has had. We know the bloodlines, right? Brother Matty went to Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, now with the Denver Nuggets in the association. They move the chains, 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. Shepard fakes it. He'll get to the 30. Good pursuit by a host of Lions.
Yeah, it looked like the first one to get there was once again Jamison Sessa, big defensive end, senior, doing a really good job flowing in and limiting that run from a Johnny Shepard, who's a tough guy to bring down once he gets a full head of steam.
Sessa is another rarity for Monsignor Farrell, a two-way lineman. The nominee also by his head coach for Lineman of the Year because of that, being that rare two-way guy to impact the game. 2nd and 8 from the 31-yard line. Big run up the middle. It was O'Gara again to the 26-yard line.
And in some ways, it's almost like pick your poison trying to scheme against this Iona offense. A lot of different guys you have to be concerned about, whether it be Joe Lee, whether it be Senator, whether it be Ryan or O'Gara. So Monsignor Farrell hanging in there the best they can, but methodical drive here thus far.
3rd and 3. That was Robinson motioned out. Instead of Shepard takes it himself. Shepard to the house. Touchdown, Iona Prep. A 26-yard touchdown run by Johnny Shepard.
And you'll see their senior leader right there, Scott Becker, first to meet him in the end zone as an O-lineman. Always love going and meeting your ball carrier and celebrating. And that's got to be a good one right there.
The PAT is up, and it is good. And a Johnny Shepard, we thought he was good, and the semifinals might be even better here tonight at Mitchell Athletic Complex. Another touchdown for big number 3.
And really, here tonight, it's been all Iona Prep with the exception of one 64-yard catch for Monsignor Farrell. Not the way that they wanted to come out in this first half. And Coach Garofolo is obviously going to have some words for his team at halftime to try and reset and right the ship thus far by the Gales.
So we saw just there what Shepard can do with his legs, right? But he's had an unbelievable year as well passing the football. You can see his spot there, right, among the leaders in the entire Catholic High School Football League.
Pretty impressive right there. Some great company.
Yeah, Dante Torres of St. Anthony's, of course. And I think one of the cool things, too, is a lot of those guys that we showed, they're coming back as well, right? Shepard is a junior. Dante Torres is a junior. Makowski, who we saw from More Catholic, he's a junior as well.
Yeah, when you're talking about the Catholic League coming into 2022, star power is something that they're not lacking in any regard. Across the board, each team is going to be returning some great threats, and I'm excited to cover it on Varsity Media all year long once again next year.
Yeah, we'll have a conversation with the president of the Catholic High School Football League, Chris Hartett, as well at halftime. You don't want to miss that one. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line for Monsignor Farrell. Does Christian Pinto have a response? Pinto spins, look out. He's like, I'm not going that way. Just dumps it into no man's land. Where is the intended receiver? And there's the flag by Santiago. Intentional grounding is the call. So that'll mean not only a loss of yardage, but a loss of down as well.
Nothing seems to be breaking right at this point in the game for Monsignor Farrell. Right now is when I'd look to get my star player, Messiah Birch, the ball in space. I'd look for a wheel route. I'd look for a screen, something to give him the ability to run in space, try to make something happen, and see if you can get back on the board before the end of the half, have a little bit of positive momentum to carry into the second half.
2nd and 22 from the 26-yard. There goes Birch, but instead it's the run, and there is a face mask penalty as Pinto was pulled down. And let's see which variety this is.
Looks like they got Moultrie Goddard on that one right there. And it's unfortunate because, these guys are out there playing fast. Nothing intentional about that, but the result is the same nonetheless.
So this will be a 15-yard variety. It won't be a first down because it was a 2nd and 22.
So coming up, we got a 2nd and 7 here for Monsignor Farrell.
Yak was in motion. Inside handoff. And this Iona Prep defense is just swarming the football.
And Capri Martin really is having the game of his life so far. I mean, we've seen him play before, and he's typically a disruptor, but he has really owned the interior of the offensive line for Monsignor Farrell, a big, strong, wrestling guy, as I said earlier in the broadcast, and he continues to assert his will upon the opposing Lions.
And Vavrika, you see there, number 9 as well, in on the tackle. 2, as we approach the final minute of this first half. A first half dominated by the Gales of Iona Prep. It is 3rd and 6 from the 42-yard line. There's Birch trying to get him in space. But look out. The hesitation is what kills you, but so is the pursuit there by the Gales, and I think it was Vavrika again, number 9.
McIntyre in there as well, and just too much team speed to not go north-south. See that? Yeah, Kalani McIntyre.
So, yeah, 10 was the first in.
Really impressive play by a guy who is comfortable out in space and coverage, as well as flying up to play the run.
McIntyre, the senior, 56 tackles, 9 for losses. Make it 10 now for losses on the year. A Bryant commit. Tall, long. He can cover if you need as well.
I mean, we watched him earlier in the season play man coverage all day against KJ Duff from St. Anthony's, who, if anybody got the chance to see him this year, they'll know one of the best preeminent receivers in all of New York State this year. And McIntyre did an admirable job from the linebacker spot, which is kind of a testament to the type of player that he is.
Yeah, Duff's another guy who will be back as well next year. How about Rich Beelan, right? Henry Beelan's younger brother, who will be the quarterback of Hayes in a year's time as well. Let's see if Iona Prep can really, really put a hand on the throat a little bit, right? And press down and continue to maybe another score here in the final 22 seconds and put a lot of pressure on Monsignor Farrell.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him open it up here for a couple plays. They certainly have the deep threats to do so, and an offensive line that should give a Johnny Shepard ample time to drive the ball downfield.
Shepard always looking left, finds a man. Looks like that was Joe Lee again, right? Or is that Ryan? It was Mikey Ryan. And Iona Prep wants to move it quickly now. 16 seconds. They stop the clock to move the chains. On the bottom of your screen, you see they've got 2 timeouts at their disposal. Shepard back to pass again. The out route, a little hesitation, turn, and bouncing outside was Joe Lee.
So from about the 33-yard line, they're going to have a really good chance here to take a shot at the end zone.
Well, the official clock says 000s on it. Joe Lee thought he got out of bounds in time.
That doesn't sound right considering Jolie got out of bounds, and also Coach Spagnuolo sitting on the sideline with 2 timeouts. So if he was aware that that clock was running, there would have been a quick timeout there. Either way, there should be one more play in this half.
So Santiago having the discussion, and he says, nope, that is the end of the first half. So what a first half it was for the top-seeded Gales of Iona Prep, led by Ajani Shepard, the junior QB. A couple of rushing touchdowns, and Iona Prep with a 28-7 lead at the break. We'll have an interview with Chris Hardett, the president of the Catholic High School Football League, at the when we take a break. It's the Catholic High School Football League Championships on the Varsity Media Sports Network, presented by Webull Financial.
The Catholic High School Football League Championship broadcasts are brought to you by Webull Financial. Enjoy tech. Enjoy investing. Catholic Health. Experts in medicine. Leaders in care. And by Winter Brothers, Long Island's #1 choice for recycling and waste removal services.
Webull stands out in a lot of different ways. One of the most obvious ways is the sophistication of our app compared to a lot of our competitors. Easy navigation is very important to us, but simplicity is not. Simplicity is not the answer when there's so many different factors going into the market, so many different news flows, data points, and indicators that you need to look at on not only a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, but on a minute-by-minute basis. And that's where Webull really separates ourselves from the competition that's out there. We are a sophisticated mobile trading app. Financial literacy is very important for us at Webull. Webull utilizes a lot of educational tools and a lot of different functions on our app that you will not see on any other mobile app. And one of the reasons for that is to take a newer investor and bring them to their next level in their evolution of learning how to trade and how to invest. So NASDAQ's a great partner. We utilize a lot of NASDAQ data in the Webull app, and we do that for a couple different reasons. Market data can be confusing to a lot of newer retail investors. NASDAQ does a very good job of showing proper market depth without a lot of the noise that sometimes is out there. We just partnered with NASDAQ to give all Webull users, regardless if they have a brokerage account open with us or not, to see level 2 data for the first 3 months just for downloading and signing into our app. You know, the bids and offers, even going down 30 places, will be populated with a lot of real demand and supply information that you won't find just subscribing to one of the other 13 exchanges. NASDAQ has a premier position in that, and we're very happy to be partnering with NASDAQ to show our customers true-to-life market depth in a simple retail mobile trading app. So we actually run quite a bit of programs on Webull to encourage financial literacy, right? And to get our customers using some of the tools and learning how to use the tools. We do it in trading competitions through our paper trading suite of products on the app, where people that don't even have to have a brokerage account can actually learn how to buy, sell using all the tools using paper money or fake money. We run promotions where just by doing certain functions on the app, like creating an alert for a stock, learning how to access the earnings calendar, learning how to do some drawings on a line chart, or to follow a moving average. By providing those simple tasks, we'll give you rewards, we'll give you points where you can not only get like Webull merch, but even a free stock in your account, right? To help you grow your portfolio. And once you get that free stock, now you have money now in your account. You can sell that and start using the tools that you picked up by getting that free stock, the steps along the way, to help people grow. We've partnered with NASDAQ pretty much from day one. That partnership has evolved over time, right? Obviously, when we first launched, we had 0 accounts. As we grew, that partnership became a lot more entrenched, you know, for obvious reasons. You know, we now have multiple millions of customers. We're a big force in the retail trading world, at least on an app basis. And, you know, NASDAQ is smart enough to realize that, you know, the retail investor is really where the growth is now.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see a region that lives, feels, and pulses with energy. But before it all, we see you, because it's your lives that breathe life into this island. At Catholic Health, we're able to provide the highest quality, most innovative care for your body, because our culture cherishes your humanity. Long live Long Island.
Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Welcome back to Mitchell Athletic Complex, halftime of the Catholic High School Football League AAA Championship. Iona Prep with a 28-7 lead. We'll send it down to the sideline where Dexter Henry has a special guest.
Yeah, Dylan, got a special guest here with me, Brian Hawkins, Director of Scouting for Prospect, New York State. Brian, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. It's cold out here.
It is cold. I've been staying warm. Not as warm as the guys up in the booth, but I've been staying as warm as I can. Now, you've been out here all day, Prospect, New York State, looking at players. You deal with scouting. Talk to me about Prospect, New York State, and what you guys do.
Well, what we do is we select the best talent in New York. Last year we did an all New York showcase, but we've now expanded where we're looking at the entire Northeast. So I'm going to be selecting starting next Thursday, and I'll get into that at the end, the top 350 to 500 players in the Northeast.
So you got that coming up that you're going to do, and you've been out here today. We've been here for 3 games. For those who've been watching with us live, Brian's been out here too. You've been looking at a bunch of players. What are some players that you've seen on the field that have impressed you today?
Yeah, well, of course, Jolie is a player that we've been looking at, that we've known. We invited him to our showcase last year. He had a big touchdown in the end zone. One thing that you just love about him is that he has a huge catch radius, incredibly athletic. I think he's underrated. He's got an offer from the University of Delaware. We have him graded as an FBS level player. Wherever he lands, trust me, he's going to be a really good player to watch when he gets to the collegiate level. Obviously, Johnny Shepard has grown up before our eyes. He was sitting behind Darius Wilson, who's now at William & Mary. And you just seen him continue to grow throughout the year. He's doing exactly what I expected him to do. Calm in the pocket, is able to pick up yardage with his legs, throws off platform. I mean, this is his first year as a starter, but I couldn't be more impressed. I saw him at the beginning of the year against Don Bosco, and he has just continued to get better and better as I've seen him. Also saw him against Archbishop Stepinac. And then lastly, Goddard, who is their stud middle linebacker. I mean, they have him running the ball now. Iona had some injuries at the beginning of the year, and he was running the football. Another kid that's going to be a Power 5 player. We saw him up at the showcase. They're playing tremendously right now, and everything that I've expected out of them, and we're all into projection, what we think kids are going to be. They're meeting those expectations. We expected them to do this. This doesn't surprise me at all, the way that they're playing.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise you at all. We're going to wrap real quick, but tell people May is when the showcase will be. How soon are you making the announcement on the showcase?
Next Thursday on Thanksgiving Day, we're going to be releasing a video where it's going to have 15 players throughout the Northeast. There's going to be some players from D.C., Massachusetts, Connecticut. So really looking forward to that.
All right, we're all looking forward to that. That's all the time we have. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Dexter. Thanks, Brian, as well. We'll take a quick break, and we'll have the president of the Catholic High School Football League, Chris Hardett, with us. When we return, you're watching the Catholic High School Football League Championships on the Varsity Media Sports Network, presented by Webull Financial.
The Catholic High School Football League Championship broadcasts are brought to you by Webull Financial. Enjoy tech. Enjoy investing. Catholic Health. Experts in medicine. Leaders in care. And by Winter Brothers, Long Island's #1 choice for recycling and waste removal services.
Welcome back to Mitchell Athletic Complex in Uniondale. It's the third and final game of a long day here in the Catholic High School Football League Championships. Dylan Butler back here in the booth, and we are joined here by the president of the Catholic High School Football League, Chris Hardit. And Chris, thanks first of all for joining us here at halftime of this game. And I guess first question, Chris, is kind of an obvious one after the year of COVID, right? And not having this this experience, this platform that you give the kids and their families and the communities. How great does it feel to be back here at Mitchell, back to have these 3 games here?
It's been a long, long time, as you said, and we were able to give the kids something last spring, which was great for them and for their families. And but this is what our league is all about. I'm sitting over in my staff room over there and just chatting about. This is probably my 32nd straight CHSFL championship Saturday. So it's a great experience for our league. It's a great showcase for our league. Have you guys here now? Showing it to everybody else in the world. It's what our product is all about, and we're really, really proud of it.
All right, so I'm going to have to put you on the hot seat, which on a cold day like today isn't a bad place.
It's okay
to be, right? So a lot of chatter coming into the postseason about the seeds, right, and why teams weren't in the AAA and why teams were seeded where they were. Explain it a little bit, but I know that it came down to a tiebreaker, which all the coaches and all the athletic directors, everyone who knew, kind of knew what the tiebreaker was. It just kind of happened not the way that maybe some people expected it to.
Well, that's what it is, and Dylan, we take a lot of heat sometimes for being a league that people don't know where the teams are and what conference and all that stuff every year in and year out. We have, like we were just talking about this and looking at the history of the league, and Iona Prep and teams like Iona Prep, Stepinac, and Hayes were AA teams, single A teams at one time, and now they're AAA programs. That's what we strive to do in our league, and sometimes it's not an exact science. Sometimes it's not perfect, but we strive to make it perfect for our programs, because what we see in a lot of the public school leagues that do things strictly by population of schools, you see a lot of lopsided games and a lot of lopsided divisions and schools that, get buried for a long time. We try not to do that in our league, and we try to, keep everybody where they can compete the best. And sometimes something happens like happened this year, which is, hey, Farrell, I believe they proved they belonged here, and so if that's the conversation that people want to have, it's actually good for us. It's like people are talking about our league and talking about our schools, and that's what we want, because listen, all the Catholic schools are businesses, and we're all looking for student athletes, and we need to have success. Teams need to have success and be able to compete, and we try to put our kids in the best possible place they can compete at.
So maybe like a 2-part question here a little bit, but looking ahead now at next year, there's teams who believe they should be in the AAA, and maybe even teams like you're the athletic director as well, right, for Holy Trinity. Maybe the Titans deserve to be in a AA. Will you have a hybrid like you had this year with the AA1 and the AAA, or will you have a strict AAA, AA, and A next year?
Well, Dill, you've been around the league for a long, long time, and what we do every year is we go back to the drawing board. We get all of our coaches. In fact, Monday nights our meeting, and we'll meet and we'll talk about it. People put proposals on the table. We have an executive committee of people that have a ton of experience in the league, and we try to map it out the best way we can. And sometimes. We've had situations. We've gone pretty much every scenario you can possibly think of. Small divisions, large divisions, bigger divisions, hybrid divisions. So I can't answer the question right now, but I can tell you that everybody gets input, and everybody in the league gets input. Coaches, athletic directors, presidents, principals, they get input also. So we agree to disagree sometimes, but we put something together that we think is great for everybody.
I think we should have that meeting on Varsity Media, right? Let's live stream that one. That'll be fun.
That would be great. That would be great.
But Chris Hart, I want to thank you so much for everything you've done, bringing us here along for the ride. It's been a lot of fun this year. We look forward to doing this again a little bit more next year.
Thanks, Dylan. I appreciate it, and the professionalism for you guys. My phone's blowing up. All the positive feedback I'm getting. So it's been great.
We like to hear that as well. So that's Chris Hardett. We'll have the second half coming up in a few minutes. It's Iona Prep with a 28-7 lead. It's the Catholic Football League Championships on the Varsity Media Sports Network, presented by Webull Financial.
Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video.
Welcome you back to Mitchell Athletic Complex. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey here. Second half just about to start. It is Iona Prep with a 28-7 lead over Monsignor Farrell in the AAA championship game. Let's take a look at some stats that we have for you from the first half. Our stats presented by Catholic Health. Big first half, as we expected, right? From Ajani Shepherd. And, look, I'll save the cliche of what big players do, but that's a big first half from the junior quarterback.
Absolutely. It's just difficult to sometimes pinpoint which exact big player you're talking about making big-time plays in this game. There's just been a bevy of options and dynamic players out here for Iona Prep, and they're really clicking on all cylinders throughout the first half. So looking forward to seeing what they can put together. And then on the flip side, Monsignor Farrell obviously did not have the half of football that they were looking for. That being said, they're a very proud team. They've got a really, really strong running back in Messiah Birch, who is liable to break the game open at any time. So Iona Prep must stay on top of their game if they're hoping to close out this championship and head to the States next weekend.
Yeah, that's a point too that we didn't make before. But the winner of this game, unlike in the earlier games, they do have another football game to play, and they will host the winner of the Monsignor Martin division up in Buffalo, and that winner was St. Francis. So St. Francis beats Canisius up in Buffalo, and St. Francis will come down here on Thanksgiving weekend to take on the winner of this game in the Catholic State Championship. Something that started a few years ago, and I think it's a great thing to kind of merge the Catholic leagues. We see it in the other sports. Why not bring it for football as well?
Absolutely. New York is obviously a weird state, not having a true state championship. So I think this effort in merging, the Buffalo League with the Downstate Catholic League, competing against one another, really just, brings a sense of unity. And it's just nice for one team at the end of each year to have ultimate New York State bragging rights.
Another flag, and maybe no one more busy in this game than our referee, John Santiago. This will go against Monsignor Farrell. And this will push them all the way back to the 10-yard line. So Christian Pinto bringing his guys back out. Frankie Esposito at the bottom of your screen. He's had the big play to this point for the Lions. They hand the ball off. And Birch is a tough guy to bring down, but seems like his running, at least in this game, a lot of east-west and not really getting north-south. And I think the Iona Prep defense is just a little bit too good, right, to you really can't go east-west on these guys.
I think part of that for Messiah Birch is just, an expectation that great players sometimes have in a difficult game where they know they're facing really difficult odds, where they try and do a little bit too much. And I think he needs to settle in a little bit, try and play more of his game. Don't try and put the entire team on your back every play, but take what's there. 2nd and 8
from the 12-yard line. That's a completed pass, but once again, right, just the terrific pursuit to the football. It was Birch who made the catch, but you saw Terrence Walden, the junior, making the tackle.
Terrence Walden's a really sure tackler out there in space, as that being his 50th tackle on the year. It's a tremendous number for a guy who plays in the back end of the defense. Very comfortable flying up and making that play in open space.
Yeah, a guy like Walden and Connolly and even really Teron Johnson, right, because of how good Ellis Robinson is, sometimes, they go maybe unnoticed, right, or unrecognized, or maybe not get the recognition they deserve, but you can see what they can do there as well. 3rd and 6 from the 14, a long ball, takes a bounce, and it will go out of bounds, and
that play was just played perfectly by Teron Johnson, the freshman cornerback out there on the edge for Iona Prep. I know our viewers at home might have missed that last play, but perfect coverage by the freshman corner, who I've had the privilege of working with over the course of the past couple years at About You. Actually came down to Clemson and really opened some eyes as a kid just finishing up his 8th grade year this past June. Keep an eye out for him to get some Division I FBS attention in the next year or two as coaches come to Iona to look at Ellis Robinson.
I think we have an injured official on that far sideline. So we'll take a quick break as this gets sorted out. 10:14 to go here in the 3rd quarter. You're watching the Catholic High School Football League Championships on the Varsity Media Sports Network, presented by Webull.
Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see a region that lives, feels, and pulses with energy. But before it all, we see you, because it's your lives that breathe life into this island. At Catholic Health, we're able to provide the highest quality, most innovative care for your body, because our culture cherishes your humanity. Long live Long Island.
Welcome back to Mitchell Athletic Complex. I think they got it sorted out there on the far sideline. You saw there Tony Garofalo a moment ago speaking to the officials. Busy weekend for us here at Varsity Media. We've got these 3 games. If you're a fan of youth football, we've got those games. And listen, we're hitting the hardwood as well. We're going to the Boogie Down Bronx, the Cardinal Hayes brand new gym, the John Duffy Gymnasium, as Joe Loads and the Cardinals take on the Fordham Prep Rams. Opening tip in that one will be a 1 o'clock start.
I guess the one consolation for the sadness that inevitably comes at the end of another football season is knowing that there's a great basketball season right around the corner. So I appreciate you cheering me up right there, Dylan.
Well, it's twofold for me. One, these charts that I have to do for football are not quite as extensive for basketball. As a pooch punt fielded, right at the 40-yard line. That was dangerous, but I guess if it's anybody else, then number 2, you say, what are you doing? For Robinson, you're like, all right, no problem.
I think he pretty much has discretion out there.
The other part of it, to go to Cardinal Hayes, great people there, obviously, right? A great place to go, but also we head inside, which starting to get a little bit chilly out there. Not that we can complain from our booth. Of course, everyone outside and everyone bringing you these moving images, they're dealing with the elements a little bit more than we are here in the booth. But, it's time, I think, to go inside.
I have to admit, my 4 years in South Carolina really softened me up. So I'm really no match for these New York winters anymore and looking forward to enjoying some basketball from the comfort of the couch.
So O'Garo gets in the end zone, but just as he does, the flag was thrown, and this will be another holding penalty against the Gales.
And it really seems like the officiating crew has put up a better matchup against Iona than this Monsignor Farrell defense so far.
So wipe off that 29-yard touchdown run by O'Garo, and Santiago and his crew will march the Gales back a little bit further. It's been a fun day into night here at Mitchell Athletic Complex. We've already crowned 2 champions, Holy Trinity, completing the undefeated season, beating St. John the Baptist in the AA2 championship game, and AA1 Chaminade defeating Moore Catholic.
That AA2 game was a real treat, a tight one until the very, very end when Holy Trinity pulled it out to stay undefeated on the year. And then that AA1 title kind of ran away with by Chaminade. So nightcap bringing some more fun.
Incomplete pass to O'Garo. We're so thankful, too, that you're able to join us on the Varsity Media Sports Network after. We don't want you to do it right now, but after, just click subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can get all kinds of notices, right, for future broadcasts that we have as well. 2nd and 20. That was Jolie in motion, but the run goes up the middle. Back just a little bit past the original line of scrimmage, it was O'Garo.
And Iona Prep right here does a good job of gashing them right up the middle. Another big block by Scott Becker. I keep saying his name all day long, but that's a reason why he's headed to Princeton next year. Really, really smart guy and a very, very talented offensive lineman who continues to pave open some big holes.
3rd and 9 for the Gales. Slow snap. Shepard over the middle. Another completed pass. Another first down from Mikey Senator.
And, you know, Senator, that safety blanket, we talk about him a lot, has the awareness to get right to the stick, sit down on him, and move the chains. It's perfect execution right there by number 14.
His breakout game this year was against Cardinal Hayes in Week 7. There's Shepard, fumbles the football, and looks like Farrell has recovered. So a rare mistake by Shepard, and it's recovered by the Lions.
Looked like number 21, Anthony Alessi, with the big fumble recovery right there. And, you know, Iona looking to clamp down. A couple of mistakes right there on that drive. Leave the door open for Monsignor Farrell to hang around this game.
So the ball punched away first, right? It like it was De Jesus. So the turnover, but of course, with it all kind of going Iona's way, even a turnover, you do it at the 15-yard line, right? So Monsignor Farrell's got a long field to try to navigate.
It's been tough sledding thus far.
It goes to Birch, and again, right, that east-west. This time, though, he does escape a few guys and gets himself out of bounds for about a gain of 5.
Now, Messiah Birch has shown us throughout the course of today and in flashes why Coach Garofolo was so high on him, calling him one of the top running backs in all the Catholic League in New York this year. Just has had a tough time getting the open space that he likes to play with in order to make people miss. It's a lot tougher to be that type of back when you're trying to break tackles off 4 or 5 Iona Prep defenders.
2nd and 5 from the 20-yard line. It's Yak again in motion. And after a big gain on first down, Birch is put backwards. Birch was the wild card when we spoke to Coach Spags because he was the guy they did not see live, right? And it was a weird situation, too, for Iona because you played Monsignor Farrell so early in the year and you were missing guys, and Birch being probably the biggest impact player missing for Farrell from that game, it was hard to get a read, really. I mean, you almost kind of threw that game out. You really didn't have too many takeaways from that game. But he said Birch is the one guy. We know that he's fast, he said, but we haven't seen it live. 3rd and 8. Ball down the far sideline. You're not getting anywhere near Robinson on that far sideline.
Now, Monsignor Farrell is, also a team that kind of turned their season around after that Chaminade loss. They lost at home versus the Flyers, who went on to take home the AA1 championship earlier today, and that was kind of a turning point for their season. They really bought in right after that point, came together, and used that as a springboard for this run that they've been on throughout the duration of the season. So losing a little bit of that momentum right here tonight, but on paper, this should be a new Monsignor Farrell team from the one that Iona Prep first met.
The punt goes out of bounds. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. When we spoke with Garrett Fowler, he said, look, in that game we were down Sessa, right, that they're two-way linemen. We played Iona tough early, but the question after that loss to Chaminade was, listen, guys, are we good? Are we not good? At the end of the game, they had a team meeting. They said, listen, do you guys want to be a AAA championship team? Do you want to play in the playoffs? If you do, you can't lose from this point. And since Chaminade, Garrett Fowler says, we've been in playoff mode. Kellenberg game was the best example of that because it was a similar game to Chaminade, but this time they had the drive and they completed the drive at the end to win that ball game.
Joe Lee getting another look right there out of the backfield. And I just find it so impressive the way that this wide receiver is able to carry the pile consistently. You rarely see that. A guy, especially at the high school level, who's used to being lined up wide, who's able to use the physical portion of his game and really, get down and get those dirty yards. It's been just really, really impressive all night long.
First and 10 from the 32-yard line. Shepard over the middle. Finds a man. Touchdown, Iona Prep. It's Mikey Ryan.
And that might be little brother's way of saying, hey, I don't care if you're playing in the association. I'm a great athlete too. Making his mark big time in this Catholic AAA championship.
Ryan with that wingspan, right at 6'2", just gets up. He gets the football and gets in the end zone. Ryan's an interesting character, right? Because he's probably a Division II receiver. But as you know, he is a legit FBS level long snapper. How about an under 0.7 from 15 yards away from Mike Ryan?
Yeah, so for our viewers at home who aren't familiar with long snapping metrics, as I'm sure is the case with most people, anything below 0.8 seconds, 15 yards from the snapper to the punter is considered elite and good enough to go on to the Division I level. Now, sub 0.7, those 0.68s, 0.69s, those are numbers and times that you really only see with guys who are on a surefire track to the NFL or already in the NFL. So that's a really, really encouraging sign for Mikey Ryan. And who knows? Maybe he's not a Division I receiver. Maybe he is. He's a Division I long snapper. And once you're on a roster, who knows what happens. But really a nice feather in the cap for any football player.
Listen, Iona Prep is on a different level here this afternoon. They've had some tight games, right? We saw those two epic games against St. Anthony's where they came back to win 35-34 in Week 8, and then they won in double overtime at home in the semifinal. Return from the 10. Good one for Monsignor Farrell. Gets out to about the 32-yard line. But I would say probably, especially considering the game, right? I mean, they were great against Stepanak as well, that rivalry game in New Rochelle. They won 34-7. This might be their best overall performance that we've seen them play, especially considering the bright lights and the big opportunity they have here today.
If it weren't for some costly penalties throughout the course of the game, I would venture to say this has been a perfect performance here on Championship Saturday for Iona.
Well, you can't say perfect. Spags has something you got to be complaining about, right?
Well, that's from a broadcaster's point of view, not a coach's.
Looks like some miscommunication there as Pinto looked for, had a couple of different receivers looking for the football there.
One of the biggest challenges calling plays against this Iona Prep defense is the front four is large, sturdy, led by Capri Martin. They're strong. They've got one of the best linebacking cores really in New York State, and with probably the best middle linebacker in New York State in Zion Moultrie-Goddard, and then an elite secondary. So it really begs the question, where is the weakness? And, you know, that's tough to find, and evidently so.
Yak with the rush. And, yeah, that's been the issue, right, for the opposition. And really, you'd have to say in the league, the only one who came closer, the one who maybe handled it best was St. Anthony's, right, where certainly the game that we had, the Friars should have closed out that game. And, man, if they had, who knows how the landscape would have changed. Pinto. Oh, man, he is just blown up.
And that's Moultrie-Goddard right there. We've talked about him earlier tonight, but at 6'2", 235 pounds, you'll feel that tomorrow when he lays the wood.
This was like playing with a rag doll here from Moultrie-Goddard. That looked like it was like his younger brother, right, where he's just throwing him to the ground.
Exactly.
4th and 9. Farrell just has not been able to, other than that one play, right, other than the big touchdown catch, there's Robinson. You've got to keep an eye out for him, and good job by Farrell. There's a flag on the play out at midfield. But other than that one play, right, to Frankie Esposito for the big touchdown, Monsignor Farrell's offense has not gotten out of neutral today.
It's been a really tough go for them, really on both sides of the ball. They've struggled to find themselves, and you know it's frustrating. But really, all you can do in an atmosphere like this is keep fighting.
Well, we know that's going to be the case from Monsignor Farrell, and it should be said, and it should be noted certainly at some point in this game that look, with so many different teams up and down, and who goes where, and teams are AA, teams are AAA. Now we're back down to AA. Monsignor Farrell has stayed true. They have been a AAA program from the beginning. They have not wavered from that. They've taken their hits the last couple of years, but it's deserved to have them back here. And I think it's refreshing as well, right? When you look at the AAA champions of the past decade or so, it's a lot of the same familiar names, right? It's the Cardinal Hayes. It's the Archbishop Stepanak. We'll pull it up here on the screen. It's St. Anthony's, of course, as well. But with a few exceptions, that's about it between those four teams. So it's good to see Monsignor Farrell back in this game, but also getting rewarded for staying in the AAA.
I've been really impressed by the parity throughout the Catholic League this year. You know, a lot of teams that have been very, very competitive, and Monsignor Farrell is back in a place where they feel like they belong. They think they should be in the championship every year. And, you know, in talking to some members of their community, I got the chance to speak with an old alum who was on, I believe, their 91 championship team, Tom Wanaka, this week. It really means the world to everybody out there on Staten Island for them to just be back in here. So, you know, regardless of the outcome, these boys keep fighting. They'll be able to come back to Staten Island with their head held high and know that they got Monsignor Farrell football back to what they believe is its rightful place, competing for championships.
Jolie to the outside, and he's wrapped up inside the 30. You had to bring up the 1991 game, didn't you?
I'm
Pat,
sorry.
I have such a great time with you. You're so much fun to broadcast games with, and then you've got to hurt me with that 1991 game where Monsignor Farrell ended St. Francis Prep's run of 3 straight championships. The Terriers were trying to become, at the time, the first team to win 4 in a row. I was there as a senior in the stands at St. John's University to watch Monsignor Farrell win that game. So thanks.
I apologize.
Johnny Shepard, again, fumbles the football but recovers his own as the Gales are in motion again inside the red zone.
And it really has just been methodical on the offensive side of the ball for Iona. They've seemingly moved it at will, and Johnny Shepard looks a little bit gimpy right there, which is cause for concern for Gales fans.
I think a little more than a little bit gimpy. I mean, he's going to stay, it looks like. He's taking looks to the sideline, but he will stay here. There's the handoff. O'Garo! Touchdown, Iona Prep. Colin O'Garo, the junior, extends the Gales' lead.
And O'Garo's a guy who missed the last matchup between these two teams, coming out tonight and really making his presence known. Great job on just that inside zone play. Jorge Ruiz at right tackle. John Pax doing a really good job paving the way for another touchdown for Iona.
Colin O'Garo came into this game as the PAT by Sean O'Neill is good. O'Garo came into this game with 30 carries, 153 yards, and a touchdown. And again, he was going to be the guy right at the start of the year. Suffered that ankle injury, and you know, right? I mean, those high ankle injuries are so tough to return from. Missed the next several weeks as Johnny Shepard being checked out on the trainer's table. But O'Garo came back. His first game back was the game that we broadcast out at Cy Donnelly Field, where Iona Prep had that dramatic rally to defeat St. Anthony's, and he's been in the lineup since. So those numbers are pretty good for a guy who hasn't played a lot of football games this year.
Absolutely. Very impressive, and, you know, you love to see that. He's a talented guy coming back next year also. Another guy. I mean, really, Iona isn't rebuilding next year. They're reloading, and that's a scary thing for the Catholic League.
Yeah, so Shepard and O'Garo are both back. Senator, who's having a great game, is back. O'Boyle, who really hasn't had too many touches, right? He hasn't had to this game, is back. And we're not even mentioning the best player in the country in his age group, in his position, in Robinson.
And Moultrie Goddard's back next year, too. He's only a junior. So this is already a very scary team, but with another year of experience under their belt, flat out terrifying.
You know, I think actually the entire secondary for Iona is back next year, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Connolly and Walden are juniors. Johnson's a freshman. Sorry.
And Robinson a sophomore.
Yeah.
So you got 3 years of these same two cornerbacks.
We had
things down.
We had that conversation with Chris Harden. Maybe teams don't want to be in the AAA next year, realizing what the Gales have. Pinto, an incomplete pass, trying to find Ethan Yak. There's an injured player for Iona, and this is the concern, right? And this is what didn't happen last week. You know, Spagnola said, look, we had a big emotional win, a double overtime victory, right, over St. Anthony's. He said the biggest takeaway for me, honestly, was we didn't lose anybody, and that's so rare in a tight game and a tough game like that. And that looks to be that's Robinson, isn't it?
Ellis Robinson. Limping off the field.
That is a tough loss. He's not putting any pressure. And you could see, you know how important he is? You could hear the crowd, right? The Iona Prep crowd completely silenced right now with Ellis Robinson on the sideline.
Just crickets here, and, you know, one of the unique considerations that Coach Spagnola has to make here is, you know, this isn't their last week of the season. So there has to be some sense of consideration for, let's make sure our guys are ready to go in a week so we can go out and try and win a state championship. Granted, we don't relinquish this 35-point lead.
Sure. Well, the next man up as a corner is Jaden Conrington, who plays a lot as it is.
And Moultrie Goddard also out right now for the Gales. That's a bad 1-2 to lose on back-to-back plays for Iona. Let's hope both these guys are all right.
Yeah, so Moultrie Goddard at least went close to the 10. You can see there the concern for Robinson. 2nd and 10 off those offsetting penalties from the 28-yard line. Under 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Pinto will take a deep shot, trying to find Esposito again. This one bounces, and you can kind of see the recognition there, right, by Farrell. Listen, Robinson's out. Let's take a deep shot while we can, maybe.
Absolutely. The tough part is going and challenging Teron Johnson on the other side isn't necessarily a short order either. And really great coverage by number 25 there down the sideline.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, Pat, is right. Like you think, all right, Robinson's out, so you don't worry about his 8 interceptions, but Codrington's got a pair of picks on the year, and Johnson's got a pair of picks on the year as well. Walden's got a pick, so Kieran Connolly's got 3.
Danger all over.
100%. Fair catch there for Iona, so the Gales will go on to the offense. 1:17 left in this third quarter. Iona Prep with a 42-7 lead over the Lions of Monsignor Farrell.
Dylan, how has this game thus far kind of met the expectations that you had going into it? Because I personally was anticipating a little bit more of a close-fought battle. I knew that the Lions had a tall order to try and go out there and compete with Iona Prep, but I really didn't foresee, this type of game.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Monsignor Farrell, because they've gotten better every week, as there's the run up the middle for O'Garo, that you had that sense that they were playing their best football at the best time of the year, that they'd come in loose and maybe playing with house money, and maybe that would result in possibly a closer game than we've had. But I think that also is due in large part to what Iona Prep is bringing, right, where they are taking their game to a different level. They are as healthy, of course, these current injuries notwithstanding, they are as healthy as they've been coming into this game than they were all year long. And you heard from Spagnola that their team was just really dialed in this week at practice, and Shepard will slide past the 45-yard line.
And that might have been Coach Spags getting in his ear a little bit of, hey, we got another game to play next week, so I don't need that gimpy ankle getting any worse. Make sure to get down.
That'll move the chains and stop the clock, at least momentarily it did. As that likely was the last play of the third quarter. As the clock winds down to 0. The coronation for Iona Prep, possibly 12 minutes away. They are that much closer to being Catholic High School Football League champions. We'll bring you that fourth quarter when we return. You're watching the Catholic High School Football League Championships on the Varsity Media Sports Network, presented by Webull Financial.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Mitchell Athletic Complex. Dalen Butler, Pat Godfrey here in the booth. Down on the sideline by that Iona Prep sideline is Dexter Henry.
Thanks, Dylan. Some injury scares for Iona Prep. Their quarterback saw his ankle taped up. He was not hurt, and he was fine. He was able to get back in there and is okay. Ellis Robinson, their cornerback, a little bit of a scare there for him. Came out the game, he was cramping up on the sideline, was in some serious pain, really had to get hydrated. When you think about the temperatures that are out here now, sometimes players can forget to hydrate as much because it's not warm, and these are injuries that can happen in the cold. The training staff told me they worked on him, they got him hydrated. It is unsure at this moment right now whether he will return to the game. Right now, with the Gales up big 42-7, I think that is very unlikely. Guys?
Thanks, Dexter. Great information from Dexter on the sideline, and certainly a positive news, right, for everyone. Everyone can take a deep breath now.
Deep sigh of relief,
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just a cramp. It's nothing more. That's good news for Ellis Robinson. O'Garo kind of pinballs his way inside the 10-yard line.
And I've been really impressed all night with the kind of holes that this Iona Prep offensive line has just been creating. O'Garo is a great back, but he's running with a lot of room. You probably could have driven, I don't know about a Mack truck, but maybe an F-150 through that hole.
What about Ben Turchin's truck? That's a nice truck.
Oh, yeah. It's a beauty.
You could drive that truck through that hole.
Ben told me he's going to go out and get the new Hummer electric vehicle with some of his Varsity media earnings as the network skyrockets.
First and goal from the 4. Another injury on the field, and this is the problem, right? Like if you're Joe Spagnuolo, you love where you are on the scoreboard, but you hate these late game situations because you really can't wholesale put all your subs in, right?
It's a difficult situation because it's a championship game. You have to give that other team, Monsignor, Farrell, the respect of leaving your starters out there. On the flip side, you're up by 5 scores right now. You've got a huge game for the state title next week, and you want to make sure that you're feeling 100% come next Saturday. So it's a difficult calculation that Coach Spags is making right now, and I'd anticipate seeing the starters out there for at least a couple more minutes before he starts really getting rolling with his subs.
That was O'Garo who left the field. And remember, too, earlier in the year, O'Garo with that ankle injury. Again, ankles are so tough, right? Sometimes even when you think you're fully healthy, it can become another issue. And another touchdown for Iona Prep. Justin Jolie, what can't he do?
He's starting to remind me a little bit of Cordaro Patterson, because going into this game, I thought of him as a wide receiver. And, he's got an argument when he gets down to Delaware to maybe play a little bit of running back as well, because he certainly is a threat from both spots.
Another score for Iona Prep. The PAT is good. 49-7. Iona Prep.
We watch as this Iona grandstand goes crazy as some of the Farrell faithful are emptying out, heading back to Staten Island a little bit early.
We asked Spagnuolo, what would winning the AAA championship mean? And he said, listen, it has been a long journey. He says he thinks he took for granted what they built, what he helped build with Coach O.D. and that coaching staff at Stepanak, because he thinks that this build here at Iona has taken a little bit longer than he expected. He said last year he felt it was the best team that he's ever had at Iona Prep, and that COVID kind of took that away from those kids, right? So, yeah, you played the 6-game showcase in the spring, but everybody saw how talented the Iona Prep team was, but they didn't get a chance to win that championship, right? They didn't get a chance to show it here on this stage. He thought that they had turned a corner, though, as a program last year. So they're excited to be here. They didn't know they would get there. They certainly hoped they would be. But now that they're here, it would be big for him as from a personal level, from a program building level. And, again, they've been knocking on the door for a few years, right, in the AAA and just losing out. Some of those tough semifinal losses, and you saw Hayes and Stepanak, all those teams around them. And, again, we heard from Chris Hardett, these schools are a business, too. You want to bring these student-athletes in. So you're battling. You're trying to out-recruit maybe the other team. So when you see Stepanak and Iona and Hayes making the championship, that's tough for you in your backyard.
It really is it's an interesting dynamic for these schools located north of Manhattan, trying to pull in a lot of the city talent. And I've been privy to that process as I've worked very closely with the largest youth organization in New York State, the Harlem Jets. And the Jets every year send a bevy of different guys to Hayes, to Christ the King, to Iona, and to Stepanak. And one of the big trends the past few years is Harlem kids are going up to New Rochelle, are playing for Coach Spags. He's building a culture very similar to what Coach O.D. has in White Plains. And, it's paying dividends. They've got top-end talent, and they're matching it together with great team unity and great culture. That's really a recipe for success no matter where you go.
9:52 left in the AAA championship game. It has been all Iona Prep. First down run for Monsignor Farrell.
It looks like number 12, Terrence Walden, in on that play again. He's a really talented guy when you consider his ability to drop back in coverage and shut things down over the top, and also be there to fly up in running downs and help fortify that front seven.
When we asked Spagnola, what does he see in Monsignor Farrell, he says a lot of guys who can block and tackle, that is for sure. They do what they do, he says, and they do it very well. He kind of says it's a microcosm of their head coach, Tony Garofalo. He says, who's going to do 4 things really well rather than try to do 10 things mediocre. So he said in that sense it's a typical Monsignor Farrell team this year, but Birch was that wild card, and certainly they recognized that, and they keyed on Birch and knew that, right? He was the guy, and he was the leader throughout this run in the postseason. And I think defensively, Iona Prep has done a really good job to limit Messiah Birch. Well,
when you're Coach Spags and you have the luxury of having a bevy of different dynamic options all across the field on both sides of the ball, and you can play with a Bill Belichick-esque game plan of, hey, let's take away their best player and make us beat us otherwise, that's really a great recipe for success. And we've seen that as they've done their best and done a really good job of taking Messiah Birch out of this game, one of the most talented guys in all of New York City.
That was Birch there with the carry. It'll bring up a 3rd and 2. Again, a long time coming for Monsignor Farrell, but they have a rich history in this championship game. And it is only this championship game. Again, they've not played in the AA or the A. 3rd and 2. There's a nice run on first down.
There.
Yeah, out to midfield.
It's Yak.
But yeah, so this is their 13th championship game appearance, Monsignor Farrell. Their last was a devastating, heartbreaking loss to St. Anthony's in 2004. They had a fun little rivalry going with the Friars for a few years there, because 1999, 2000, 2003, 2004, all those championship games featured Monsignor Farrell and St. Anthony's. In 1998, they had a loss to Chaminade. 93, they lost to St. Anthony's. The 91 game you had to refer to before. They defeated St. Francis Prep 22-17 when the championship game was played out at St. John's University.
Shout out Georgetown alum Tom Wanaka.
Another nice run by Yak, the senior. And really, for so much of like the 90s and the 80s as well, Farrell was the program, right? I mean, they were as dominant as they came. St. Anthony's then had their run, of course, with so many multiple years of championships in a row under the great Richie Reichert. And we've seen, again, the landscape change a little bit to head a little bit further north, right, into Westchester and the Bronx with Hayes and Stepanak. And now Iona Prep as well, as Birch cuts it inside the 25-yard line.
One fun thing about this league is it really shows you how hard it is to stay atop that mountain. You know, chasing success is one thing. Being the best and still outworking the competition is another thing. And I think that's why you've seen year over year, you know, there's a constant change in who appears to be the preeminent program in this Catholic League. St. Anthony's was even making a push to reclaim that spot this year. So a lot of fun to continue to watch. But Iona, for now, is saying, hey, we're king and we're here to stay.
2nd and 6 from the 25-yard line. As the run goes inside the 20. And this is a little bit of what was the concern, at least coming into the game, right, for Joe Spagnuolo. It's that Monsignor Farrell does such a great job in just keeping the ball and having these long runs and long possessions, I should say, and time of possession. So that's why he said the first game they played, that tough game back in week 3, that they were able to win. He said, we only ran like 53 or 54 plays. He says, when we get 70 plays, we don't lose. But in that game, it was only like 53 or so. So that was a concern coming in. Wildcat there for Yak.
And Monsignor Farrell is doing a really good job right now sustaining a long, methodical drive. And that's really their type of play. Earlier on in this game, that wasn't the case. They had a lot of 3-and-outs, struggled to really maintain possession for more than a minute or two at a time, and subsequently, Iona got that, you know, I don't know what the total number was, but close to 70 plays that they're always looking for.
Second and 6 from just inside the 15-yard line. Good look there from our sideline camera, Matt McCower-Brown, who's been there with Dexter Henry all game long. All day long, I should say, right? 3 games worth. And a flag, a late flag on that run.
And you'll see Iona Prep is starting to sub in some of those reserves, and this is always a really nice thing when teams are able to do this because these guys fight. They work year-round just as hard as everybody else. There's nothing more difficult than being a guy, you know, a little bit deeper down in the depth chart who's not getting his opportunity. So here you go. You're out there in the Catholic AAA Championship with an opportunity to play and have some fun.
And for Farrell, it's a 1st and goal from the 6. And they get in the end zone.
And a well-deserved touchdown from Messiah Birch. He's had a long day, but a truly incredible career thus far. And it's only going to get better because he's only a junior.
Yeah, he'll be back as well. Birch. You see it again out of Wildcat. Followed the initial block by Badenia. And then he went the other way. The late flag you see there, a personal foul variety against Iona Prep, which will be assessed on the kickoff. So 49-13. Farrell will go for 2.
With the logic, I guess, being why not.
Oh, and they get in as well, as Aaron Espinat found his way into the end zone. So 49-15 is the score. Iona Prep, 3 minutes and 54 seconds away from winning the AAA championship for the first time since 2008 when they defeated St. Anthony's here, 48-35.
And speaking of St. Anthony's, you know, this Iona team played a couple of classics with that Friar team this year. A lot of fun to watch, and both of those rosters are returning almost all their top talent. So a lot more to stay tuned for as, you know, we move into 2022 on the Catholic calendar. A lot of fun to be had.
So are you lobbying then for us to do those broadcasts again next year?
I'm lobbying to do every single Catholic broadcast I can.
Well, we certainly hope here on the Varsity Media Sports Network we're able to present those games. And even if we are winding down in the high school football season, We are certainly not done broadcasting the Catholic League as well as Nassau, Suffolk, and you know what? Anybody who wants us, you can contact Ben Turchin at Varsity Media.
And it really has been a ton of fun all year, showcasing and properly representing these teams. Long Island, Greater New York has some of the best football in the country, and the ability to bring a top-level broadcast to these communities, to these fans, has been nothing short of a blessing for me and Dylan. So we appreciate you guys listening to us all year long. We appreciate our team for making this all possible, and we're only excited to continue to grow with this incredible football community in New York.
Personal foul called, and we do flip the script to basketball. Tomorrow, we're in the Bronx, the Catholic High School Basketball League, where it's Fordham Prep against Cardinal Hayes. 1 o'clock tip-off there, brand new gym. It'll be good to see Joe Loads and Hayes again. And, oh, by the way, you think Robinson is a high-level sophomore. You've not seen Ian Jackson play basketball yet. The sophomore for Cardinal Hayes, number 6 in the country in the class of 2024 for Hayes. Already offered by St. John's and Seton Hall and UConn. Leonard.
We got to keep him home. I think he's got to go to St. John's.
I like that thinking. I like what you're thinking there.
Got to bring back the good old days where New York's top talent thought of no other school than St. John's.
I knew I liked you, Pat. You hurt me with the 91 comment, but my other alma mater, I like what you're thinking there.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm as much a Chris Mullen fan as anybody.
A big reason why, actually, I went to St. John's. That opportunity to, be on the court and be in the student section at the Garden and watch games, and got a chance to broadcast from there as well. Really cool opportunity. 2 minutes and 35 seconds left.
Wish you could bring Luke Carnesecca back. They could use him. He's still hanging in there.
Listen,
I think he's 96 or 97 right now.
God bless Luke Carnesecca. 3rd and 5. High snap. There's the handoff back to about the 45-yard line.
And some good hard running on this drive by Ian Panker, the senior running back. Doesn't get a ton of carries, but has really done a great job here at the very end of this game, showing just some of that competitive depth that really makes a great team a great team. It's very, very easy to think about the stars and the starters and the guys who are lighting it up come Saturday, but I can tell you firsthand, those guys, number 1 through 50, all have a role in this championship. They all sharpen one another every single day during practice. They hold one another accountable. They're all an integral piece in what brings together a championship team. So this should be celebrated equally by all these guys on this roster, regardless of whether or not they've been the ones scoring the touchdowns or making the tackles.
Iona Prep will take that delay of game penalty, which brings the clock down to 1:26 left in this fourth quarter. We started our broadcast day sometime around 11 a.m. for the AA2 championship game. And as we approach 8 o'clock, we are set to crown our 3rd champion. All top seeds have won to this point.
Dylan, I think we're headed into hour 9 or 10 right now, but that just goes as proof that, when you're doing what you love, you won't work a day in your life.
I'm not sure about you, but I will head home tonight and get on my basketball charts. I've got a game tomorrow at 1 o'clock, so no rest for me. I know you're going to get some of that Thanksgiving pizza probably coming up as well, right?
Well, first I'm getting the Thanksgiving pizza, and then after that, I don't know. It's good hot tub weather. I might have to go back out to Mom and Dad's place and soak a little bit.
So it's all left except for the celebrating on that sideline, and what we've seen being that Gatorade shower that Joe Spagnuolo will now soon get in about 56 seconds time, or how about right now?
Love to see it. A lot of hard work realized for all these guys from the heartbreak of 2020, knowing that they had as good a shot as ever of making a run to the AAA championship, losing that season, coming back, having a quick spring showcase and showcasing a lot that they had, and then finally getting a chance to put it all together here this season. It's been a truly special run for Iona Prep, and they're going to look to cap it all off with a state championship victory next weekend.
Yeah, they're not done yet, right? And maybe the best part of it all is that they get to do that at home as well. They host St. Francis out of Buffalo in New Rochelle next weekend for the state championship game. So they will celebrate this one tonight. But, you know, Coach Spags and his staff will get some of that tape right on St. Francis pretty soon.
And back to work.
Deep ball there, incomplete.
And they'll just let the clock run out. It looks like
it stopped.
They were.
Well, now it's continuing. And that
that'll
does
be
it.
The game.
Iona Prep. They go wire to wire. All the expectation was on the Gales. Preseason #1, the best team in the state to start the season. And other than that Week 1 loss to Don Bosco, Iona Prep has backed that up. They go wire to wire as the favorite to win it, and they claim their first AAA championship since 2008. They were 2016 winners as well, but that was the AA. This is the AAA, the big boy conference in the Catholic High School Football League. Certainly, as we said, congratulations to Coach Joe Spagnolo and his entire coaching staff. A well-earned victory and a well-deserved championship as well. For Monsignor Farrell, it's a tough way to end your season, but listen, few outside of their program, their locker room, thought they would be here. They deserve credit for making this journey. It's a journey that, again, not many thought they deserved even to be in as the #2 seed. They backed that up by getting to the title game. So really well done as well by Tony Garofalo and his coaching staff as well.
Absolutely. Even though it doesn't end the way you want, it's very, very important to take a step back right now. Any of these seniors walking off the field for the last time at Farrell and say, hey, we accomplished something really, really special here. Listen, you guys haven't been in a championship game since '04 in the AAA. There's a huge, huge mountain to climb just to be here at Mitchell Field today. And you know what? It doesn't go the way you want it to, but you can go back to the drawing board next year and know that your program is in a much, much better place for the future. And Scott Becker, the big offensive lineman, showing off with those cartwheels right there. Going wild, the big boy, as he should, with the sweet taste of a AAA title.
Listen, there's no stopping Becker. I think he's waiting for the judges to give him some marks. What a great job there for Iona Prep. Big win for the Gales, 49-15.
This has been a fun day start to finish. You know, there's a lot of great football being played in the Catholic League here in New York State. Oh, my gosh. Ellis Robinson.
I kind of think at this point, Joe Spagnolo is going to be like, listen, everybody stop. No more. We don't need a turned ankle here in a post-game celebration since the job isn't done yet.
And for those of you who missed it at home, Ellis Robinson just hit a tremendous back handspring and just made it look easy.
So they'll name, as they have, the defensive MVP and the offensive MVP as well. We will have our own player of the game presented by Catholic Health.
And championship coordinator, Mr. Kevin Ahern.
So you see, certainly options here defensively, right, for the Gales, but Moultrie Goddard knew his name, the defensive player of the game. Well earned there. And what do you think, Jolie maybe here or Shepard?
I'd have to go Jolie personally, but It's tough to pick. You know, they put up 49 points.
Offensive MVP. Number 3, Johnny Shepard.
And it is the QB, Johnny Shepard, being named the offensive MVP. A couple rushing touchdowns for him, and really setting the tone early on for this Iona Prep victory.
And now for the presentation of the AAA League Championship Michael Cunningham Memorial Trophy.
And now the moment that the Gales have been waiting for a very long time. Again, you have to go back to 2008 for the last time that they did this, claiming the AAA championship in the Catholic High School Football League.
Congratulations to head coach Joe Spagnuolo and the entire team.
So what a moment for the Gales. It is not easy to be that preseason favorite, knowing that that target is right on your chest every game. And Spagnuolo said it, we get every team's best game. And there's been some close calls, those wins over St. Anthony's, where they were as close to a defeat as you could possibly get. But they found the way. They were resilient down the stretch, and certainly here get their just desserts.
Absolutely. You know, it's really, really hard having that target on your back all year. I remember 2017 coming off a national championship berth or victory. Every single team that we played, they were circling that Clemson name on the calendar. And in the Catholic League this year, everybody, when they got that schedule that first came out, they circled that Iona Prep game and said that's our Super Bowl this year. And when you're playing everybody on their Super Bowl, it's really, really tough to not, let one go. And they've really, really just been impressive.
And Pat, you know what, too? It wasn't just that pressure of being the favorite. It was a host of injuries as well, right? Where in that week 1 game, you lose Jorge Ruiz, who was such a big part of, as I think some students here joining the celebration. Ruiz was massive, right? In week 1, that loss to Don Bosco in the first half. He was out for the year, and then you had more injuries in Bishop Hendrickson, so they were really banged up. You were on like your 3rd or 4th running back, your 3rd or 4th linebacker, so that also posed some questions where they didn't really truly get healthy until just recently down the stretch.
And that right there is proof that Joe Spagnuolo has a program, not a team. Because you can put together a team, you can put together 11 guys on either side who can go out there and win. But when those guys go down and you have the next man up, step in, fill out his role, and take care of his responsibilities, that shows that you're building a greater culture than just any one player.
We will have looks like we're going to have 2 Catholic Health players of the game. Why not, right? You win a championship, you deserve it for Iona Prep, and we're getting ready to bring it down to the field. We will now on the field. It's Dexter Henry with the guy that is pretty much a household name throughout America right now, Ellis Robinson, the fourth.
Yeah, I'm here with defensive star for the Gales, Ellis Robinson. Ellis, I saw you doing a backflip after this game was over. Explain the joy to me that you're feeling right now.
This feels great, being with the team and everything, because we came a long way, so I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it really. It just feels great.
It's always interesting when everybody tells me they don't know how to explain the joy that they're feeling here, but you showed it with the backflip.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this game. Pretty dominant effort on defense. I heard your coaching staff after halftime say, hey, look, we dominated them, stopping the run in the first half. Now we have to stop the pass in the second half. How are you guys able to put together such a dominant defensive effort?
Honestly, starting first in practice. Practice really was our main goal going on into the season. I mean, not even season, just this week. Being focused, locked in this week, getting everything right, I felt like we was going to be good for the game.
You're somebody highly recruited, offers by Alabama. You got to keep that focus going through. What do you think is next for yourself and this program as you try to take your game to higher heights?
More championships. Definitely.
That's it. And look, we're talking about more championships. Got one today, but I know you're focused, as you told me, on that state championship. How confident are you that you guys can bring home another state title?
Oh, I'm very confident. I'm very confident in my team. I feel like we're going to take this home, definitely.
All right, I like that confidence. Enjoy it. Don't do 20 backflips, okay? All right, that's Ellis Robinson. He's there. I got a Johnny Shepard who will be joining me. For Johnny, we can get him over here in 1 second. Johnny will be joining us here to talk about the Iona Gales capturing the championship and dominating 49-15 there. Johnny will be joining us in 1 second.
Dexter sounded like the coach. Stop doing backflips, please.
Hey,
you
look.
sound like Joe Spagnuolo there.
Hey, I'm just trying to tell them, you want to be safe as you try to prepare for a state championship. So you don't want it to not be that way. So I got a Johnny with me right now. Johnny, you're going to take the headset here, and we're gonna talk. Johnny, how you doing, man?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Well, start off with this first. You got to be good. You saw your teammate, Ellis Robinson. He's doing backflips.
Mm-hmm.
Fans came on the field. They feel good. You just got a championship. How are you feeling about winning that championship?
I feel amazing. It's not kicking in yet, but it's amazing right now.
That's good.
I can't wait to celebrate.
We can look at the defense, right? Mm-hmm. Held them to 15 points. First time you guys played them, you held them to 10 points. What went right for you guys offensively? Because you guys were able to do it on the ground, in the air. How did it all come together for you guys offensively?
I think we really matured and we stopped making mistakes. There was no mistakes on the field at all, and we just started bowling. When
you're as highly ranked as you guys are, and everybody comes for you each game, you know you're going to get their best. How are you guys able to avoid the pressure and just focus in this championship situation?
I think it's just a brotherhood. We all trust each other. We all know we're all gonna bowl out every single snap and stuff like that.
Now I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Ellis. Got this championship here, but I know there's also a focus on getting that state championship. How confident are you guys thinking that you can bring that home?
We're going to worry about that later. But right now, we're just going to enjoy this right now.
Just going to enjoy the moment, right?
Yeah, right
all right. Well, you enjoyed that one, okay?
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you for the interview.
That's the Iona Gales quarterback there. He's going to enjoy the moment. The rest of the team, they plan to do that. A very happy time for the Iona Gales here at Mitchell Field. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Dexter, and also thanks for everything the entire day as well. And you can see some of those scenes there, what it means. It's not just a team celebration, right? It's now a community celebration, and it's a championship with parents and siblings and younger cousins, and it's just such a meaningful one for the Iona Prep community.
It really takes a village in order to put together, a winning program, a winning culture. And you really saw that in front of us, whether it be the fans who were wild and impassioned from the very start, or the coaching staff, the players, all came together and all contribute to this fantastic AAA title for the first time since 2008.
What a day for us here at the Varsity Media Sports Network. 9 hours of championship games. It could not be done without this crew here on the screen. Pat Godfrey, my broadcast partner, Dexter Henry on the field, Brian Butler doing a great job directing, Chris Sweeney handling all the graphics. Of course, you need the moving images, right? Angelo Caezo, Ron Pierre, Matt McCower-Brown, as well as the leadership of Ben Turchin as well. What a day it was for us here at the Varsity Media Sports Network. We thank everybody for joining us. Remember to subscribe as well so we could get you'll know where the next big games are. And Pat, it's been a pleasure, man. It's been great here broadcasting with you, and what a day. I couldn't have asked for a better broadcast partner than you. And again, end of the Catholic Football League season. Congratulations to all the champions from Holy Trinity to Chaminade and to Iona Prep here tonight. That does it here from Mitchell Athletic Complex. Thanks for watching on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.